Some of this will be determined by some of the moves that are yet to take place in free agency involving Deshaun Watson and maybe Dak Prescott and maybe Russell Wilson. We will see. Meanwhile, Lewis, let me come back to you because I can hear all of the non-quarterbacks that I work with every single day screaming at us right now. Guys, it's not just the quarterbacks. So as we look at the rest of this mock draft, Lewis Riddick, aside from the QBs, what's the number one thing that stands out to you?
Yeah, I think it's the Phillies selection there at 6. I can just tell you this. If Phillies comes up and Jamar Chase is on the board and they don't pick Jamar Chase and they go with Kyle Pitts, and I like Kyle Pitts, I love Jamar Chase, there will be riots in the streets of Philadelphia. They will burn down the city of brotherly love, and they will march on the NovaCare complex, I promise you. I think recency bias is something that we all need to be very careful about, and that in this sense. Look, we haven't seen Jamar since 2019 when he absolutely ripped the SEC, and he ripped every single top corner in that division without any problem at all. This guy's a monster, and if he's sitting there at 6 and he's just waiting for you to pick him, and you have your choice between him and Devontae Smith, I think you better take one of them. Look, I'm telling you, look, I like Kyle Pitts. He's not Darren Waller. He's not George Kittle. He's a good weapon, but he's not of that category. And I think it would just be a huge mistake if Philadelphia passed on him if he was sitting there waiting for him.
A reminder, Jamar Chase was the best receiver at LSU 2 years ago, sat out last year because of COVID. Justin Jefferson came into the league this past year and put up all-world kind of numbers. Chase was the better player the year before at LSU. Mike T., same question to you. Aside from the quarterbacks, what's your number one takeaway?
Jamar Chase, he's the best wide receiver in this draft. And what's interesting, Greeny, when you talk to people around the league, how are the opt-outs going to impact decisions ultimately? Jamar Chase, if he had played, may have been the best football player. He'd be in that discussion with Trevor Lawrence. As you just mentioned, he outplayed Justin Jefferson, who was dynamic from Minnesota. So ultimately, is it Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase? And in the balance is going to be one guy played in Excel and Devontae Smith, another one opted out. And there's teams around the league that are really struggling on how to handle the opt-outs. And to me, that's going to be a fascinating dynamic as we get closer to the draft.
Quickly, I mean, you were a GM for 2 different teams. Mike, would it matter to you? Would the opt-out factor into your thinking?
I would drill down hard. I'd figure out, I want to know why you did it, who helped impact that decision, and go through their whole body of work. But if everything else checked out, I would not hold it against them. This was obviously an insidious virus. And again, Jamar Chase very well may be the best player in this draft that's not a quarterback, and he may be too good of an opportunity to pass up.
And Matt, back to you. Same question. Aside from the quarterbacks, what's your number one takeaway?
Yeah, guys, the running backs, 2 of them coming off the board in the first round. Najee Harris from Alabama, Travis Etienne from Clemson. I thought we were devaluing running backs in the NFL. Last year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes at 32 out of LSU to Kansas City. And then this year we see 2 dynamic players. I thought Etienne had a little bit of a down year in 2020. Najee Harris, he probably had the Heisman vote when we got down to the end of the regular season. Obviously, Devontae pulled away toward the end of the year. But seeing 2 running backs go in the first round, I don't think it's crazy, but it would be a little bit of a surprise just given how the NFL values that position and how deep the running back group is this year. There's a couple other guys out of North Carolina who are making some waves as well.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.